Welcome back to the latest edition of Let's Play Aotearoa or the Maori in Victoria 3, a Let's Play series where I decided that the Maori should adopt industrialization and make processed food, a decision that somehow resulted in the Maori taking over half of Australia. But of course you might go like, hey, but Kettle Place, doesn't that defeat the purpose of being Maori? After all, Maori culture puts a lot of emphasis on preservation and harmony with nature, and building a Heinz baked beans factory right in the middle of Middle Earth kind of defeats that purpose. And I would say, yeah, that's a good point. But I have a counterpoint. See, everybody knows that the oldest profession in the world is a sex worker who makes baked beans. But I digress. Of course, I would like to talk about the leader of our industrialist interest group, the first female president in this alternative universe that we have created, and the first president of the United Tribes of New Zealand, Tia Huia Whero, who's a cruel pacifist apparently. And, well, not only her person is important in this alternative universe, but her last name is of significance to Maori history in the real world. And that's relating to the King movement, or Maori King movement, or also the Kingitanga movement. And now, of course, if you don't want to hear about it, you can skip to the timestamp to the Let's Play itself. But when you go to a party and then those cute girls there are all just talking about the Kingitanga movement, and you just approach them and go like, I don't even know who Potato Te Whero is, and they just laugh you off and walk away, and nobody wants to talk to you at the party, and you're in shambles and you're desperate and you're just thinking and hitting your head, thinking, I wish I listened to this, just don't look at me, that's your own fault. But yeah, you can skip to the timestamp. So the Kingitanga movement, or the Maori King movement, it's one of the longest standing Maori institutions in New Zealand. And traditionally, as I mentioned in the first episode, the Maori did not have a central authority or somebody who would call themselves a king. The Maori didn't even have a unity on iwi or tribal level. Most of the authority lay in the hapus and rangatira who ruled over them. And even those rangatira did not have much of a centralized authority. So the idea of a centralized Maori monarchy was sort of a new thing, and it wasn't an easy sell within the Maori society. The movement arose among some of the Maori iwi, or tribes, of New Zealand in the central North Island in the 1850s. The goal was to establish a role that was similar in status to the monarch of the British colonists, as a way of stopping the alienation of Maori land. The movement sought to establish a monarch who could claim status similar to Queen Victoria and deal with the Pākehā, or the Europeans, on equal footing. And so in 1853, Matene Te Whiwhi and Tamihana Te Roparaha began traveling throughout the North Island searching for chiefs who could accept this title, but most of them refused. But finally, in 1856, the Waikato chief Potato Te Whero was nominated as a king. He actually initially refused, but then he relented, although he was quite an old person and he didn't want this big new role thrusted upon his shoulder. But eventually he did agree, and he was declared as a king in 1858. Potato's role was strongly embraced only by Waikato Maori, with the iwi of the North Auckland and south of Waikato not really recognizing his authority, so he wasn't the king of both islands. People of both islands did not recognize him as the only king. It was mostly central North Island. And that's quite important when thinking about these monarchs and generally movements within populations that were not similar to the modernized and centralized nationalities of Europe, because only in some European countries did you have this idea that, well, the English are the English and they have a queen or a king. When you think about it, even Germany and Italy wasn't united and they didn't share that identity. So it was the same case with the Maori. The difficulty was to convince them that it is worth to share your mana with a singular king. And then, of course, there's a question of who would be that king. And to answer that, actually, the Maori monarchy is electoral monarchy. So the king has to obtain the consent of his subjects. And at that time, a lot of iwis, they dismissed the king as sort of a movement that was only relevant for people living in Waikato. Potato died in 1860 and his son, Tafiao, became king. However, at that point, the British authorities viewed the king movement as a challenge to their authority. And as a result, the British forces invaded Waikato in 1863. While putting up a great challenge, the Waikato were unfortunately defeated and huge areas of their land were confiscated. And Tafiao and his followers had to retreat into what's now known as the King Country. In 1881, they returned to Waikato. Tafiao worked unsuccessfully to return the confiscated lands and traveled to London to look for support from Queen Victoria. He also set up a Kingitanga parliament known as Kauhanganui, and began poukai, or annual visits to the Kingitanga Marae. And perhaps the most popular and the most well-known Maori monarch was Queen Te Atairangikahu, who was crowned in 1966. She was made a dame in 1970, and one of the most important achievements during her reign was that the Tainu Waikato signed a settlement with the government in 1995 about the land confiscations. She passed away in August 2006. She was the longest serving Maori monarch, and then, of course, her son was elected into the kingship afterwards. So that is the short story of the Maori king movement. Now, of course, the Maori kings are elected. They seek to represent the people, while not everyone recognizes them as their monarch. As far as I could understand, most of the Maori in New Zealand do respect the role that they're playing in spreading the word about their culture and defending their interests. Even though the Maori king, of course, has no actual power, this is still a very important symbolic role. So thank you for listening to this. I hope you know a little bit more about the Maori king movement, and let's get back into the game. So last game we managed to expand our population to more than 1 million. And that's from 50,000 at the beginning. And now we have 7.4 million in GDP. So we're filthy rich, filthy big, and we're all over the place. Not gonna stop here. So we're almost done colonizing the South Island. We're also expanding in the north here in New Caledonia. We're making sure that our flag gets planted on every little island. For some reason, the Europeans are asleep, and we're gonna take advantage of that. So without further ado, let's get back into the game. Let's unpause. So as we can see, the budget has a bit of a hole in it, but it doesn't seem like it's the worst thing ever, because after we're done building the buildings, we're not going to be in the red. So stamp out monarchism is one of them, and that's going to be done soon. Freedom of trade probably would be a good choice for us to be on. So let's see if we can get that freedom of trade, free trade law. Indeed, that is available to us since we have industrialists in power. Let's go for it. The reason why it's good for us as a country that probably in the future is going to import most of the raw materials rather than produce them at home, as right now we are doing in North Island. We don't have... Well, okay, I did not build this iron mine, so don't pin it on me. Are we integrating all of the regions? Yes, we are indeed. So in the next 10 years, we're going to integrate the whole of West Australia, or what used to be New South Wales. Indefensible extortion. An orator from the intelligentsia has gone on a speaking tour across the nation denouncing mercantilism and praising the value of free trade. Hey, that sounds good. That's good for us. Should we make the intelligentsia more powerful, or should we pass the law? Let's pass the damn law. Okay, and it seems like we have positive bureaucracy, so we're not losing any money to tax. Now that we're in the red a little bit, let's see if we can balance out the budget, increase the taxes slightly. Yeah, this is looking good. And it's election time, and the results are in. The Free Trade Party has won, so if you had any questions about what the people think about this law, you should not have them anymore. As the Free Trade Party has been elected, we now have free trade as well, which means that the trade volume increase, there's a huge increase in trade route volume, but we cannot have any tariffs, which is fair enough, fine with me. Once we become independent, this will be very important because this will make it very cheap to have a lot of trade routes. The Ngati tribal market has grown famous worldwide for being welcoming and open to foreign trade. Sell, sell, or buy, buy. Buy. Well, it doesn't matter. Because we don't have our own market yet. But it's going to matter once we become free of the British rule. And that's... We can start thinking about becoming independent once we have the whole of Australia under our wing. So what is this Van Diemen's Island? Demon land. Demon? That sounds like a negative person from the Bible or something. Okay, so they're an insignificant power of 2 million in GDP. So they're tiny. They don't like us, I think. But we should start incorporating as soon as we can. Okay, so now we're incorporating New Caledonia. What else are we supposed to incorporate? Fiji Islands have a bit of an issue when it comes to infrastructure, so we're going to open a cargo port. Looking positive here, so we can no, perhaps. Ooh, okay, no. Okay, we're still reaching a minus here, so now. Okay, high taxes and medium government wages. Maybe that will work. Okay, we balanced the budget and we can continue looking over our situation here. I think in the South Island we'll need to build some factories. So we have 6,000 peasants right now in the South Island. So one more food industries is gonna plug that hole. We're gonna have 30,000 employed in total. So each food industries right now adds 6,000 jobs because of the patent stills. Okay, so we're having egalitarianism right now invented. Something that I want to start looking into is having at least a little bit of research in terms of navy, because we're gonna be a naval power in the future. If we're gonna be a power of any sort, it's gonna be a naval power. Right, our GDP continues to grow. It's now at 8.4 million, and we have egalitarianism unlocked. Biggest minds in the world to realize that maybe people like to be equal to each other. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. I'm not convinced. And then thanks to these big brainiacs, we can start to get some multiculturalism, which we really need, because if you look at our cultures, we're holding a lot of different people under the boot, if you will. Swedish, North German, Greek, Franco-Canadian, and of course, English. For the first time ever, the English are feeling the boot under their necks. Anyway, let's not get too psycho on this. Hydraulic cranes plus 3 port max level. That sounds reasonable. So let's continue investing into some of these naval technologies right now. We have a lot of people who want multiculturalism, so let's go for that. Stamp out monarchism was successfully completed. United Tribes has successfully maintained a republic form of government for many years now. There are a few who still remember the old monarchy with any fondness. We must put the past behind us, or there is no harm in nostalgia. So yeah, there is a lot of harm in nostalgia, so let's just go with put the past behind us. That will make the landowners into a elitist ideology, which is much better than paternalistic scholar gentry junker probably. Okay, so that makes them more likely to be pro-monarchy, pro-theocracy, pro lots of different things. Let's just put the past behind us. Now the landowners are going to become a proper elitist party. So they like republic now. They want some oligarchy business going on. They want hereditary bureaucrat still. Anyway, it's as good as time as any to look over our leaders of different interest groups. Wait. Now we have Tiahuia Ferofero as the leader of industrialists. Also, it's a woman. And we don't even have women's suffrage. Well, how did that happen? Well, hey, we're on the right side of history with this cruel woman being our president. Really just lost for words. So this cruel pacifist is now leading our fine country. That's good to know. Intelligentsia have Korokke, who's a market liberal, a bandit. A market liberal bandit sounds very apt. Let's look at the trade unions. Well, it's probably Korokke's brother, Rangikahu, who's a Republican. He's an ambitious diplomat and an expert political operator. Next up, we have the petite bourgeoisie, and it's Tawayo Te Ferofero. What's going on here with the Ferofero family? Really having a lot of power in the country, huh? A cruel pacifist, just like his sister. Right, and we have Tawayo Kenena, who's an innovative moderate. And then we have, of course, the Anglican Church, which seems to be led by a woman. Once again, listen, I'm okay with women being in positions of power. I'm just kind of surprised that this has already happened here. A rousing speech captivates the public. This afternoon, Korokke Atarangekahu, leader of intelligentsia, has delivered a fiery speech advocating for the enactment of multiculturalism. And this should ease the path to reform greatly, or do we want to give him more credit? Do we? Well, intelligentsia, I like intelligence. Let's go with more credit for intelligentsia. I'm sure we're going to pass this anyway. Whoa, what happened here? Look at that. Peru, Bolivia is now within the British sphere. Soon enough, they will lose Australia. Okay, so let's see. Where else can we colonize? I'm thinking. Let's see. Let's see which islands have the most population, because we're really we just want some population to be in our country. 60,000 here. So Micronesia is a better candidate. And Biloa is a even better. And Halia seems to be just perfect for us. Papua is going to stay independent since they have malaria, and we don't want that. 58,000 in Micronesia. Think that this Halia tribe is about to get colonized by us. An Australian politician may take over leadership in the fight for culture's acceptance and united tribes. Porque Atarangeka, whose leadership is needed in these uncertain times, right? Do we like him? He's a masterful diplomat and expert political operator. You know what? I'll go with the wild card. Let's have the... Henry Hiscock is now the leader of the intelligentsia. This is where equality starts, right? He's wearing a very strange outfit, though. Why can't he wear a proper business attire like Tihuaya Ferro? Who knows? Maybe one day he will learn. It would be actually kind of cool if, like, all the Australians that would come to live in Aotearoa would eventually adapt the tattoos and the clothing. Also, don't have any tattoos in this game. You should have tattoos for noble Maori people, especially. Anyway, nitroglycerine unlocked, and that will improve the production in our mines, of which we have none, I think. Oh, we do have iron mines. Okay, let's go with that. And we can use rail transportation here. And in our tea plantations also. Modern sewage is unlocked. Good news for fans of sewage. Let's see, tea plantations, subsistence farms, and so on. Oh, we have a lot of subsistence farms. Nice. So we now have multiculturalism, which means cultures will be accepted based on always. The only time when a culture will be not accepted is never. Welcome to Aotearoa. The only criteria for acceptance is being here. Intelligentsia approve of it. Of course, petite bourgeoisie and Anglican Church will start some fascist shit soon enough. But now we have 9 million in GDP. We have almost 17 in standard of living, which is okay because our population is increasing steadily. So we're gonna start colonizing these islands here. What are we building right now? So we are building one food industries. We need more. Right, so let's expand our glass industries here. What else can we do here? I think these industries are too ineffective to take advantage of. I never really thought about that part. So as you can see in New South Wales, we don't need a lot of infrastructure here, right? We have 5 out of 11. So we're not really struggling here. So we can just use the anchorage. Is that the case everywhere else? No, it seems it's just New South Wales. So we save a lot of money this way. We can lower the taxes a little bit. That's good. So the hopefully the number of radicals is going to decrease over time. And we're gonna have to build some sort of a industry here. It's either gonna be food or glass. And it's gonna be glass. Glass is quite easy. But I'm preparing just in case if we decide to become independent from the United Kingdom. I don't want to go too wide when it comes to my industries because I will need to adapt to these new conditions quite fast. Okay, now that we're making a little bit more money, maybe we can use iron frame buildings. As long as we still have an investment pool. We do have an investment pool of 0. No. Well, still, it seems like there's some transfer here happening. So let's just increase the taxes temporarily. France has declared Great Britain to be their rival. Well, this is a classic one. So do we have a good relationship with the Van Diemen's Land? I should read up about this Van Diemen. I know that it's one of the 5 states of Australia. Now I'm sounding probably extremely ignorant, but I just don't know why it's called that. The one produced in New South Wales has been lauded by sommeliers as outstanding. Yes, sir. So what can we do with that? Get more prestige. Do we need it though? I don't think we do, but I like having more wine output. So let's focus on that instead. Where are we colonizing? We're gonna finish off South Island, and then after we're done with South Island, we're gonna go to Tonga. I just wonder, why is everyone so lazy about colonizing? Usually by now you have way more colonies from Russia and the UK around the world. So what's happening with the UK? Do they have money? Maybe they don't have money anymore. Our colonization of Bougainville has been complete. And now it's a proper state. Which one is that? This one. Good, let's just build a port here. Anchorage, good. And then we're gonna start just, you know, like everywhere else, we're gonna start making some food industries or something like that. Okay, we're making quite a lot of money now. Okay, and we can expand the construction industry in Victoria. Good, so we're gonna build those factories faster. I think that the rapid industrialization we're experiencing is bringing us. So we have 7,000 peasants here. I don't want to have that. And yeah, let's expand the food industries and glassworks too. Boom. Our influence grows. Now we have some problems with market access. Well, they're not huge issues. Maybe there was some sort of a shortage of some goods that, but we do, oh yeah, I'm still incorporating this state, so of course, let's reduce the port size and then do a cargo port. There's really no need for a double port there. Low market access in Northern Territory now. Let's build a port there, and eventually we will fix that issue as well. High tensions, everything is isolated suddenly. What's happening with the British market? Listen, Britain, what are you? Oh, of course. It's not even a civil war, it's a war against France. Gonna have to go into Stone Age again. Let's see, a good vintage. The wine produced by South Wales is lauded by the best in the world. That's cool. I don't know how they're getting that. Why? Because so they have attacked Bang, and France is one of Bang's allies. And so therefore the French invasion of Great Britain has started. That's what the war is about. So I think Britain will win the war, but I don't understand why there is no British troops. So welcome to let's put all of our eggs in the same basket again, just to see them get broken. With me, a man who's broken. See England sink my ship one more time, inadvertently. Let's see what's up with our election. Oh yes, democracy in all of its beauty. We have one party. That's how democracy works. We're in default. The construction has been paused because of that. I think I'll just make life easier for my people. Although the problem is that we're gonna starve soon. We're completely 100% dependent on trade to get our food. So that's a bit of an issue. Britain is about to end it. Boom. Okay, it appears Britain has lost the war now, and everything should be back to normal soon. No, but we would still need... What do you call these? No, we don't. Okay. So this is how we get out of this. Next time I'll know. You can just use anchorage everywhere. And that should fire up the wheels of trade again, right? Because we're no longer isolated. Right? Somebody talk to me. Okay, so while we are dealing with the trade issue, we have good news. Look at that. Colonization of South Island completed. What does that mean for us? That means we can form Aotearoa. Boom. We're formed as a nation, finally. Look at that. We have a new beautiful flag. Our president, the cruel Fero, first female president in the world. In 1865, she's pacifist like her dad. And she's probably very angry at me for mispronouncing her last name. That one time I did it. Okay, let's continue colonizing, because that's what we're good at. And we really don't have much else to do, given that we're just losing money. Let's see, does that mean we can still federate Australia? Yes, it does. Nobody has any access to the British market, outside of Britain, that is. Does that mean we should just leave the British market? And yeah, they're sinking me. And we have to make that decision. Yes, expel diplomats, begin damaging relations. My people depend on me. There's 2 million people and they're almost all unemployed. That's not good. Here we go. Can we ask nicely. Let's see what happens. I really don't have a big plan here, but I think that nobody will be involved, and I think that Britain will just be too lazy. What? Capital New York. New Africa. Free States of America and United States of... What is that flag? Great Britain has broken out. Now we can't really do much about it. We just have to hope it goes well for us. But as I can see, Great Britain gets a lot of exhaustion from this war. So it's going well for us then. So they decided to attack me in the north. So what can we do about that? Yeah, our war for independence is gonna go well as long as we don't do pretty much nothing. Nothing stupid, I guess. It's unfortunate that we have to go independent and lose the Federated Australia thing. But so far, the way the market is working, there's just no market access anywhere else. And I don't really understand why. Oh, so this is why. What the heck? So they're completely bankrupt. For some reason, they don't have any more ports and they can't build them. Oh, damn. That is so funny. What's the GDP of Great Britain? Let's check it out. It's 44 million. That's less than Russia. Great Qing has the highest GDP now. Wow. That is just terrible. Now they're offering us independence because of course they cannot win this war. So yes, we're gonna say yes to this deal because that is exactly what we want. And independence. We have a peace treaty with the United Kingdom and they recognize as an independent state. So Aotearoa is now independent and we need a new market. Because this is not gonna be easy. We should ideally find a new market because yeah, I just don't see how else this is gonna work. But we can't join any other markets as far as I can see. We can ask to become a protectorate of some other country. Yeah, Netherlands sounds good. So yes, we're gonna ask the Netherlands to take us as a protectorate because for now I think that's the best idea. We should take advantage of their goods for our industries before we actually start developing a bottom-up pyramid. They have accepted our offer to become their protectorate and now we should have... Wait, what? We're in the same market as Russia? Huh. Okay, so we have tax waste because of the bureaucracy deficit. What an issue. Right, can we change our bureaucracy a little bit so that it requires less resources? Yeah, paper is very expensive. But now we're starting to see a little bit of a positive revenue. Oh, okay, I think this is it. Okay, so now we started to build buildings again. We have a little bit of a deficit in the budget, but that's fine. And we have unlocked labor movement, which will allow us to restrict child labor. So universal suffrage is now being supported by the trade unions, and so we're gonna try and pass it and see how that goes. Still experiencing a lot of radicalism. It's on the decline right now, which is good, and obviously the amount of loyalists is increasing. So because we're no longer British subjects, it is no longer on the menu for us to confederate Australia, but that doesn't mean we can just conquer it. Now, right now, we have invented vacuum canning, which is great for us. This will improve the food industry. I think that, yeah, we can go with rubber, that we can get into vulcanization and right into automatic bottle blowers. Let's think about our military. We have modernized our military. We have 37 conscripts. Now, if we look at Van Diemen's Land, they have just about 7 conscripts, which is pitiful. England is... recover? No, it's not recovering at all. They're not doing well. They're not doing well. Would be a good time to take advantage of the nonsense that England is going through and start damaging relations with Van Demon's Land. Grassroots support for law. The political wills and desires of the lower classes always remain an opaque matter for whatever reason. Support for universal suffrage has spread like wildfire across Aotearoa, supported by charismatic speakers and lively debates in small-time social clubs. Okay, it used to be... Wait, will that help? That is confusing to me right now. Okay, so political movement support. So more people will support the trade unions? Is that what's happening? Overly enthusiastic partisans. Supporters of Conservative Party have gone beyond simply campaigning for their own party, harassing and sometimes physically attacking opposing partisans. We should crack down on them. We have built the government administration building, so we're hiring more, and hopefully that will improve our taxes. Yes, already we are much further along in the green. Okay, public address goes awry. What was meant as a routine speech about the merits of universal suffrage by Te Ata Ngapora has quickly devolved into public relations disaster for trade unions. It is the thought of this poorly thought through proposal, or I don't want trade unions to lose any more clout, so let's go with that one. Let's see how our there's not a lot of people in the Conservative Party. Not exactly what you would call a mass movement, so I have no idea where are all of these votes coming from. I hope that universal suffrage will fix that. Now, again, we're in the red when it comes to our budget. And election results. Conservative Party has gained 53%. So I think we can try and do a government with Social Democrats and Free Trade Party. Yeah, so we have to start looking into some changes in production. Discord within the armed forces. An influential faction within the armed forces has grown frustrated with their co-members' neutrality on the topic of universal suffrage. Oh, that's good. That's good. Let's get that plus 15 enactment chance. Back in the economy business, I don't know, should we ask Britain to take us back? They're slowly recovering. Let's see if they actually have ports. Nope, still no ports in Britain. Therefore, being in their market is not the best idea, I think. And our glass factories are slowly recovering. Let's start to go with forest glass. Yeah, that's the best one. Dissenters break ranks. To outside observers, the intelligentsia may appear firmly committed to... Oh no, the intelligentsia doesn't want this to be passed anymore. That is terrible. Now that there's a bigger demand for lead, maybe we have a... yeah, it's more productive. Now, let's see how our food industries are keeping up. They're doing great. That's nice. At least that thing is going well. Perhaps until we can make our glassworks work better, we shouldn't build any additional ones. And it appears we have backroom dealings exposed. Prominent members of intelligentsia, outspoken supporters of universal suffrage, and close allies of Henry Hiscock have been exposed in a corruption scandal, having exchanged political favors for personal gear. Henry Hiscock, the only Australian politician in the country, is gonna have to take a popularity hit. Let's see. How is he doing? Are you popular? Nope. Neutral. And we're building more and more lead mines in Queensland, which almost makes leaded glass a productive endeavor. Do we have any dye plantations we can build? And finally, Aotearoa has universal suffrage. Everyone can vote. And the thing that matters most in political strength is precisely vote. So next election is going to be very, very different. Only Britain and the Netherlands have interests in this area. The Netherlands have established a colony of Dutch East Micronesia. Oh no. And now Russia has established Russian West Micronesia. So I guess we're not going to have Micronesia for ourselves. That's a shame. And now we're having temporary embarrassment, of course. All the middle-class people are temporarily embarrassed billionaires because the ambitious middle strata citizens think that when they will become wealthy, they will be taxed too much. And that's a very realistic way of thinking, right? Why pay less taxes now if in the future, when you're rich, you're going to pay more tax? Okay, so we kind of went past our cutoff time, which is 1870. So it's 1872. In the year of 1872, we have 17 million in GDP, which puts us as number 16 in the world and number 2 GDP per capita. The Grand Duchy of Finland is above us. Finland. Curses. Okay, we have standard of living at 12.5. Now, I believe that the reason for that, because we're doing quite well economically when you think about it, we have a high GDP, but I think that we're lacking on some basic goods like grain, wood, what else? So we need those. So I will start looking into maybe just opening up a farm or two in our colonies. just to supply us with cheap food, and that should improve our living standard, because as you can see, the middle strata and the upper strata are doing very well. It's just the lower strata that's impoverished. I mean, makes sense when you think about it, huh? So please come back again next time to see if the revolutionary Tasmanian movement takes the upper hand in Van Diemen's Land, and if we can then take them over instead, and if we can make the Russian market work for the newly formed Aotearoa. Thank you for watching. See you next time.